Hello, Cricuters. It's me again, Delonda, and welcome to Cricketing with Delonda. If you are joining me on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button because I plan on adding new content every week. This is a very new channel, not even a month old, and we are quickly growing. I'm very excited about that. But I'd also invite you to come over to my Facebook page. It is called Cricut Crafting with Delonda. That is where I do most of the interacting with I call them my Cricuters, but they are also loyalists. And that is a quickly growing group too. They're pretty quiet, but they're very encouraging, very supportive of one another. I never have to send out reminders to be nice. So I love that group. That is that's where I got my start, is on Facebook. So I would love it if you would consider coming to visit us over there. But if you prefer to just stay and visit us on YouTube, we welcome you anyway. In today's tutorial, we are going to learn how to make those Spotify keychains. Okay, so I did try a test run the other day, and I was actually following someone else's tutorial. I actually tried following multiple tutorials, and what I quickly noticed after several trial and errors was that it's virtually impossible to weed out all of these little sticks that represent the Spotify code. And if you don't believe me, I don't know if you can see this clearly, but I tried regular weeding, I tried reverse weeding, I tried putting the transfer paper on and peeling it off, I tried using strong grit transfer paper, I tried just multiple ways before I realized that I'm tired of wasting vinyl, and I don't want to weed out 100 sticks just to get a code, and with the thought of if I miss one of the little sticks that go in that code, that the code won't work. And so even if I got 99 of them right, the 100th one is missing, so it still won't work. I don't want that. So what I decided to do was do it my own way. And so that's the beauty of, watching tutorials and learning from others. You learn what works and you learn what doesn't work. And the good thing for you is I can make the mistakes so you don't have to. So what I finally decided to do was use printable vinyl and put my image on the template, and then turn everything else into a PNG file. So once I had 2 PNG files, I could just do a print and cut, and I wouldn't have anything to weed out. I would literally have 1 or 2 stickers to stick onto this keychain blank, and it came out beautifully. Now this one, I would say, is 99% beautiful because it's missing the I in I Believe in You and Me. Now this is a picture of my husband and I from our wedding day. But it's missing the I in I Believe in You and Me, and that's the song that I walk down the aisle on. But it's still pretty, and guess what? If you scan the code, it still works. So I'm going to try to do this one again tonight in the tutorial and show you my process. It is a little bit of a longer process because you have to turn your code and your text and your music player files into PNGs. But it makes a better looking product to me, so I actually like this one better. This one is my husband's. This song is by Prince. It's called 1,000 X's and O's. He was a big Prince fan. He still is a big Prince fan. And so that's a recent picture that we took, and that was how his came out. My daughter did one also. She didn't want the tassel on hers, and she actually wanted a smaller look to her template. So she is in solo and ensemble, and her ensemble just scored 1s, and so they are headed to state very soon. So those are the ones I've made. I will show you my process for making them so you don't have to weed anything out. In order to do this project, you will need the keychain blanks that look like this. I will put them down in the description box, the link for them. You will also need you don't have to use this brand, but I'm in love with this brand. I used to always use the Hobby Lobby Paper Studio brand, and I have I'm not going to use that anymore until I run out of this. This one is called vinyl sticker paper. It is very shiny. I do not have a fantastic printer, but this makes my printer looks like it cost $1 million. It comes with 15 sheets. I purchased it from Amazon. I will definitely put the link for it in the description box. The package doesn't come with these, but you'll need this to put the little keychain hook on there. And if you have a package of these, if you've seen any of my previous videos where I made the keychains that look like this, because these are all the rage, you can just use the tassel that comes in a package of these to put on here. Or you can do it without the tassel. This is my daughter's, like I said, and she doesn't have the tassel on hers, and this one still looks nice. So without further, of course, you'll also need the template, which I will make available in my Facebook group, and you'll need a photo. So without further ado, let's head on over to Design Space. I am in Cricut Design Space, and the first thing you need to do is upload the template that you will use. Remember, the template will be shared with you for those of you who are in my Facebook group. If you are not planning to join the Facebook group, you could get a Spotify template similar to this pretty much from anywhere. When the template comes in, if this is your first time coming to join me here, I've always said that I typically keep my view a little bit smaller. So right now it's on 50%, and I'm going to change the size of this because the Keychain Blanks that I'm using is approximately 2 by 4. Okay, so I have it resized. It's 2 inches by 3.968, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you'll see what I'm doing here. All right, and so what I typically do next is I'll get a rectangular shape from my shapes tool, get a square first, and then I resize it to the same size as this. So I need to unlock it, and I know that it needs to be 2 at the top by 3.968, and so this rectangle is the same size as this. So everything that I'm going to make here will be the same size as this template right here, and it'll fit perfectly onto my keychain blank. All right, so I'm going to change this to white, and I'm going to make sure that it's in the back so that when I start to add my pieces, they will fit in here perfectly. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do over here is ungroup this. Okay, so I know that I need to upload an image that will be the same size as this. So I'm going to go ahead and upload my image. I have decided to use a different picture this time. I already have a keychain with the first picture on it, and I want to use this one. I love this picture of my husband and I. This was right after we were announced as husband and wife in 2017. Okay, it's going to come in as 2 different types. Of course, I want to add it as a print then cut image. Okay, choose the file, insert it. It's going to come in pretty big, I'm sure. And I will resize this to probably 3.0. Okay, so right now it's 3 inches wide and 2 inches long. And I don't want to change the ratio on it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger though. Okay, at first I thought that I could just move this on top of my image, send it to the front and slice it, but for some reason it would not slice out this image. And so instead of, trying to figure it out, I just decided that there's always another way to do it. So what I decided to do was get a shape, get a square, and resize it to the same size as this. So this is 1.968. I'm going to change this to 1.968 by 2.076. So these two, let me make sure this is 2.076. Let me change that. Okay, so these two shapes are the exact same, and if I put this shape on top of my photo, and I select both of them, now I can slice it. Okay, remember slice works like a cookie cutter. It cuts out the parts that you don't want. Okay, so I'm gonna move that, and I'm gonna put this right on top of my blank, because remember this rectangle right here represents my keychain blank. So now I have my photo, and I'll make my screen a little bit bigger so you can follow along and see just what I'm talking about. So now I have my photo. Now the next thing I need to do is get my song name and artist. The song name and artist that I am going to use is I Believe in You and Me by Whitney Houston. And when I type in my text, it automatically defaults to Cricut Sans, and this one is actually a decent size font for this Spotify keychain. Another good option would be the one called Made Tommy, MADETOMMY. It's bold and it's big and it looks really nice. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use the Cricut Sans. If you look at the Spotify template, you'll see that the song name and the artist name are not the same size, but I like it the same size. I'm going to type in I Believe in You and Me, and I'm going to type in Whitney Houston right below it. And I'm not going to use two separate text boxes. I just want it to stay just like it is. So I've typed my font, and you see that it's still the Cricut Sans regular. Let me see what it looks like bold. I actually like that better. I'm going to go ahead and keep it like that. Now you will notice, hopefully you'll notice that some of these, the letter spacing is not good. And what I'm going to do first is ungroup two lines, because I want my lines to be a little bit closer. So I can, just move it up with my mouse. And so Believe looks pretty good. The O and U are too far away from this Y right here. I don't know if you can tell, but I want my letter spacing to be a little bit better than that. So I am going to ungroup to letters, and I am going to move this over. So I have the letters in the spacing the way that I want it, and now I'm going to align them at the bottom so they all are lined up properly, and then I'm going to group them, and I'm going to make sure I do the same thing here. I am going to, these are already grouped, they're not ungrouped, so I like this already. Actually, I'm gonna move this down just a little bit. Okay, so now I have all of this the way I want it, and I want to go ahead and group the whole thing, and not just group it. After I get my heart, this heart that goes right here, I'm going to attach it, but let me first see what size this is, because remember, all of this is ungrouped. All right, so the size of all of this right here, including the heart, is 1.967 by 0.289. So I'm going to make this that same size after I get the heart. Okay, so I have the song title and the artist name, and I went ahead and changed my heart color to red, because red is my favorite color actually, and I wanted to have a little bit of color pop in my template. Okay, and I know that this doesn't look centered, but it will when I show you why I've done it like this. I actually made this a little bit smaller because I want to make sure you can see the I in I Believe in You and Me. And if I have it stretched all the way across, that was the reason why the I was cut off last time, and I don't want that to happen this time. All right, so the next thing you need to do after you have your photo, your song title, the artist name, and the heart if you want it in there, And the heart in this one is not, it's not attached to anything. It's just kind of a standalone. I just duplicated this one and I changed it to red. The next thing you need to do is go ahead and go back to, I use Google Chrome. You'll go to Chrome and get your song title. You'll go and search for the song title. So right now I'm in Spotify. I have searched for the song title. The song title that I'm using for my keychain is I Believe in You and Me. And you'll see that there are 3 dots over to the right. So when you see those 3 dots, you have options. The options will be to when yours pops up, it'll say click copy song link, and that's actually what I want to do is copy the song link. It's copied to my clipboard, and then the next thing you'll do is go to a site that's called Spotify Codes. You'll click on Spotify Codes, and you will do a Control V, where I have this blue highlighted right here, to copy the code that you just entered. So now I could change the background color of my code. I could have it to be red. I could keep it as white. I could turn it black. You have options. I'm going to go ahead and keep my background color of my code white. The bar will be white, and I am going to change this to a PNG file. Most tutorials you'll see will ask you to change it to an SVG file, and when you do that, that's what makes you have to weed out all of those little sticks. I don't do that. So I change mine, and then it'll drop down that looks just like this. Go back to Cricut Design Space. Now you'll go back and you will upload the image that you just downloaded. I know that's weird. You're going to upload what you downloaded. Okay, so this is the one, this is a JPEG, so that's not it. Remember, mine was a PNG file, so I'm going to open it. Comes in like that. Mine is red. I don't think I chose red, but since it came in red, I'll keep it. And I'm going to click continue. I want to print and cut image. I'm going to upload it. Okay. Click insert. Might come in a little bit big, and that's okay. I want this image to be the same color, the same size as this image, but remember I have to group this because it's ungrouped. So I'm going to group it to get the size. It's 1.958 by 0.368. 1.958 by 0.368. And remember, whenever you are resizing, so I did have to resize this. I had to unlock it because if I would have just changed this to 1.958, the ratio, when it's locked, it wouldn't allow me to just change it. It would be off a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. This part right here, I am going to copy this. I'm going to select it, not copy it yet. I'm going to group it. I'm going to duplicate it and just put it right in here. Make it a little bit smaller just to make sure it fits. I don't want it to be too big for my keychain blank. And now this, none of this is grouped. Okay, I only want this part. Okay, now I could group this and I could just duplicate it and put it on mine just like this if I want to, if I don't care about the length of my song. But let me just go back to Spotify just to see how long my song is, and if you want to change that, you can change it. Okay, so the length of my song is 4 minutes and 1 second. So if I wanted to be picky about that, I could change that. I'm okay not changing it. I actually don't even care to have that on there. It doesn't matter to me. But if I wanted to just change it, I could, delete these and put that in there, but I actually don't care about that being in there at all. you can do them exactly, how you want to do it. But for me, I don't care about that at all. Okay, so now this is where it might get a little bit tricky. So stay with me. All right, so right now I have my completed Spotify template the way that I want mine. I have my photo, I have my song title, I have the artist, I have my heart, and I've changed the color. I have my Spotify code, I have a bar, and then I have like what looks like a play, back, forward kind of thing. And if I wanted it just like this, and if it's perfect to me, I could go with it just like this. But now I need to line it up a little bit because I can tell that it's not lined up well. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time kind of just getting these lined up the way that I want them. Okay, so I have just hidden my picture for 1 second because this part has multiple pieces. So let me go back to show you what I mean, so I don't want anyone to be confused. Remember, I had the photo of my husband and I. Let me go back and find it. So I have it hidden. I've moved the template from behind it because I just want to center this stuff the way that I want it. So I'm going to hide this. I don't need that right now. I want to make sure that all of this is arranged the way that I want it. Okay, so I have everything the way that I want it, and I have it sized the way that I want it. I'm going to bring my photo back in. I'm going to make sure that it fits well on the template because I'm not really going to be able to print that template. Okay, so I have my photo. I'm going to align it. Make sure it's here at the top. And I have this, and I see that I have a lot. Well, I attached my 2 black parts, so I could stretch this out a little bit if I wanted to. Let me unlock it to make sure that it's long and not wide. And I can move the Spotify bar to make sure that it's not in the just how about if I send this to the back so that it's not getting on my nerves right now. I can move this up, and I'll send this back to the front. Okay, I think I like this. Okay, so when you're making yours, the one thing you need to remember is that your photo has an absolute size. The rest of this really doesn't, because you have room to play with it. You can, make your Spotify bar code bigger. You can add other stuff here. You can add the start and end time. And so that's kind of what I've done. I've just played around with it to get it to the sizing that I want. And now that I have it the way that I want it, I am going to remove the template that is behind it, and I'm going to show you how to turn this into, this is where it's going to get kind of tricky. I'm going to turn this into a PNG file so that it will cut as one image, and it will look beautiful on your Spotify keychain. Okay, so I took that off, and I am going to remove all of the squares from the back of my canvas. Okay, stay with me. So now this whole thing, this is 1.992 by 3.893. Okay, but remember this should be the same size as this. So let me just check. This one is 2 by 3.968. So I need to make sure that this is also 2. Okay, I'm going to unlock it. Okay, so by 3.968. So this is 2 by 3.968, and this one is also 2 by 3.968. So now to change this to a JPEG. So what I have done, and I hope you have this, is I am going to do a new snip, use my snipping tool, and I'm going to select this. Okay, and I'm going to save it as, okay, I'm gonna save it as, it gives me the option to change it to a PNG, portable network graphic file. I'm going to change it to us, and I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Okay, I'm gonna click save. Okay, and I'm gonna close this out. So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to upload the image, us, that I just saved on my desktop. Okay, that's what it looks like. I want it to be complex. I'm going to continue. Hit this, here. Okay, now if I want to be sure of my size, what can I do? I can put it back on top of the template, right? Or I can just resize it to this size right here. It was 2. I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to change this to 2 by 3.968. Now this right here, I can just hide this because I don't need any of it. I don't want to delete it because sometimes, you know, I'll make a mistake and realize, oh, I need to come back to it. And now this I can delete because I know I have it. All right, so this is what I want to make. Let's see how it comes out. I'm going to go ahead and click make it. There's my file, and remember I'm using that printable sticker paper. It's called vinyl sticker paper, and it is so fantastically awesome. I am going to print it out. I have my photo printed out, and I have it on the standard grit mat. I have chosen printable vinyl as my material, and I am going to click the load button. I typically hold my mat until I make sure it's loaded. That stops it from not loading properly. Pressing my C. So as you can see, it printed and it cut. I'm peeling my paper away from my mat. Moving my mat over. Print very well. I am going to remove the plastic from my, you know, I use my weeding tool for everything. So now I'm going to take the photo, I'm going to stick it on the keychain blank carefully. Okay, when I finished getting it off the paper, you know, this is sticker paper, I did have a little bit of overlap at the bottom, and I used my X-Acto knife, brain freeze, to cut off the XX paper. I cut it on here, and so now I am in love with the way this looks. The last thing I will have to do is go ahead and put my keychain on there, the little hook and the keychain. So remember, I use my weeding tool. I will go ahead and poke a hole. Okay, and okay, so my closing thoughts. This is the final product, and I love it. Just a few things though. What I love about it is that you don't have to weed out every little letter and every little stick and every little piece, because that just could be a nightmare and it could be frustrating. And I didn't have the time or patience to do that. You have to play with it a little bit in Cricut Design Space. The size of the photo is absolute. The size of whatever else you put in the template, you have options about how big or small you want that. I did make my song title bigger and the name of the artist bigger. I changed the color of my heart. I didn't use the start and end times. You have options with all of those things. The template size, I've mentioned it several times, but you'll have to go through and watch the video. It can be kind of confusing to change it to a PNG file, but to me it's worth that extra step so you don't have to do all the weeding. If you have questions, please put them in the comment box, because I know that this one can be a little bit confusing because there are multiple steps and just getting the sizing right will be important. But you'll just have to play with it a little bit. And if you don't want to do it this way, you could absolutely do it as an SVG file. Some of you are weeding warriors, okay? You are able to weed out every little tiny detail and you are fantastic at it. You are Spiral Betty champions, okay? That's not me. I am Delonda and I am not a weeding warrior. I prefer to do printable vinyl and not have to weed out all those little pieces because it drives me bananas. Okay, I will put the template, like I said, in my Facebook group. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You know I will answer your questions, especially if you're in my Facebook group, because that is where I interact. That's where I love to just check in with them and just communicate. So I think that there isn't anything else I want to share with you. Like I said, if you want to put some of those tassels from the other keychain packets, you could do that. But I really like the way this one looks. I was able to move my words over and make them bigger. And I'm in love with this. And you know, I have 1 million keychains now, okay? Because I have a keychain of every type. And that's okay. Because whatever it takes to teach you everything I know, if I have to have 1 million keychains, then I will have a million keychains. Maybe my husband will buy me, 1 million cars. Probably not. Okay. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I will make sure to put all of the materials that I've used in my description. And if you are interested in joining us on Facebook, it is Cricut Crafting with Delonda. I am wearing my Rockets gear. They did not win last night. That's okay. I'm still a supporter. They're still my team. I do have a disclaimer about these Spotify keychains. Please make sure you follow all of Spotify's copyright laws regarding the use of their codes. I do not have authorization to give you their codes. If you don't have a Spotify account, and if you're planning to sell these, I am not sure that is the right thing to do, but make sure you check on the Spotify page to see what their the laws are regarding the sales and usage of their copyright, of their codes. I do not plan to sell any of these. You remember, I don't sell anything, but I know that it's okay to use these codes on my Keychain Blanks as my personal, for personal use. Okay, so make sure you follow their laws regarding the use of their codes. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.